This is the dumbest Oscar I've ever met in my entire life. I don't know if he's blind or what the heck the deal is, but here, look. I gave him an entire 220-gallon aquarium because I felt bad for him because he was getting bullied in the other tank. What does he do? I go to feed him. He doesn't even eat the flakes I put in there. He can't eat flakes. What's wrong with you? 200-gallon aquarium, can't eat flakes on your own, you look sweet. Come on, dude, eat the flakes.
I want to talk about a dumb fish. And before you get all upset, me calling a fish dumb, let me explain. This is about an Oscar. Oscars are awesome. They get big. They're like wild giant dogs that come up and greet you. They're one of the coolest fish that we have in the greenhouse. They're so cool, in fact, that we have not one, not two, but three of them. One of them's name is Django, one of them's name is Tony, and I haven't figured out what to call this one. However, all three of them live by themselves because, like what Oscars do, they beat the crap out of each other. In fact, Django got so big, he kept getting bigger and bigger, eating more and more and more, and ultimately became 2 to 3 times as big as the other ones that we got at the exact same time. But here's the problem. I have a dumb fish. Let me explain. I feel bad for the white Oscar that we have in the greenhouse. The other white Oscar, Tony, was beating the crap out of him when we lived together in a 125. He was always hiding, he was always stuck, he just looked like he had a miserable existence. So I'm like, oh hey, let me hook this dude up. And I threw him in this 220-gallon aquarium behind me. Oh, right on camera, see that? This is all extra jungle valve that we pulled out in the basin here. We're actually running floating plants, which I'll show above in a second. But he lives in here by himself. And my goal is for him to enjoy and live in here and be a big waggly dog, like friendly greeting fish, and live a better life than he was living. Problem is, I don't know if this dude can see. So here's my question to you. This is an albino Oscar. I don't know if the albino trait, little r, if you want to do the whole Punnett square thing, causes him to have poor eyesight, which would make sense. Like, I know you can't breed Australian Shepherd dogs and you have like 2 Merles together because you'll get a white dog that can barely see and it's just a bad way to go. So is it just a genetic defect because he is an albino Oscar, or is something else going on? I tried to feed this fish a fly the other day, okay? There is nothing more active, moving, and on the surface than I can give you than a fly that I threw at the surface of the water. And you can see he could not eat the fly. Now, ultimately, after the camera was turned off, he was able to get it, but why isn't he just able to strike? Please let me know in the comments what is up with this, and I would like to know what fish that you have dealt with, seen, or has been bred too much in captivity, or just genetically modified, that has these types of issues. Are there other fish that you're keeping that you're like, this fish was bred with this fish and now it's crazy? Please leave a note in the comments on some fish that you've seen variants of that simply don't act like they naturally would in the wild. Tank on.